guided by his excessively good looks. He, a boy from the district, was treated by all kinds of people as a pretty object to possess, but ended up unexpectedly stepping into the world of a group prince. From then on, the prince became the pampered golden retriever he raised. Yi Tang had grown up in the district since childhood, treated by all sorts who did not see him as a person, only a pretty thing to acquire. Every day under the shadow of group and corrupt cops, he could only scrape by through struggle and scheming. Just escaping from the garbage heap underfoot had already drained all his strength. So he never believed that true affection existed in this world. As the young boss of a group, Mengesin grew up like a dog, used as a mere remove tool by those who did not even see him as human. Every day, caught in the schemes of deceitful hypocrites lurking in the shadows, he could only claw for survival by serving as their henchman. Just trying to live as a human left him battered and scarred. So he, too, did not believe in true affection. And yet, these two people who believed in nothing ended up believing in each other. Mengesin hates liars the most, but to win over Yi Tang, he became the biggest liar himself. 3 years ago, Yi Tang, born in Pingning district but dreaming of becoming a lawyer to change his impoverished fate, was deceived by Mengesin and fell into the depths of despair. 3 years later, Yi Tang, who forged credentials and assumed another's identity to become a lawyer, reunites with Mengesin, who knows his past and seeks to rekindle their connection. This time, Yi Tang decides to turn the tables and use Mengesin. The two liars cheat each other until they are left with nothing, then pull each other into the path they were meant to walk. He is a handsome man who grew up in the district. He leapt to fame as a lawyer everyone wanted on their side. Yet his disgraceful past became leverage for the mob heir to trap and bully him. With his innate nobility, he was hailed as the favored son of heaven. Even wealthy society ladies lamented not having daughters, otherwise they would be determined to marry Yi Tang into the family. He would rather insist Yi Tang take those fees as a lawyer than give them to workers as removed money. Yet the Yi Tang he constantly mentioned was left feeling wronged under Mengesin, as if only by grinding him into the dirt would Mengesin be satisfied. Getting used to it, Lawyer Yi, this life of pretending to be an elite and successful man, tell me, if I exposed those shameful parts of your past, how do you think people out there would react? I really like how you are now working hard to please me where no one can see, just to preserve that false dignity. Only I have seen your true self, the one that matches perfectly with a scumbag like me. We are truly a perfect pair. Until Yi Tang stepped forward, Mengesin and Kong Iji, why do you insist on leaving me? Those words seemed to jolt Yi Tang back to reason. Why leave you? Of course. Because I have had enough of being so foolish that I once pinned my hopes on the most fleeting and unreliable kind of love. 3 years ago in London, in a chaotic bar, he disguised himself as a woman to track down the scumbag who bullied his mother. The man spoke with a sly tone. I thought you were just another stripper looking for work. Didn't expect it to be you. How come you are mistaken for a young girl? Isaac, a low-level member of a local group alliance, stared at Yi Tang's face, impatiently yanking off his bow tie. Yi Tang just curled his lips. Is that a problem? If you do not want me, I can go out and call in a dancer. Simply because he was too good-looking, the young man could effortlessly win people's hearts. Just a few words and they were bewitched. I am just wondering why you suddenly feel like seeing me. In the past, you would run away the moment you saw me. You are actually offering yourself up today. Don't tell me you made the mistake of messing with my mom. After saying that, he hurried to tell Yi Tang that he had sent everyone away, so no one would come and disturb them. Without a word, Yi Tang pulled out the real dagger and drove it straight into the man's main area. In just 5 seconds, Isaac became removed. Yi Tang put on a wig and hat, hating himself for not dealing with the bastard who bullied his mom sooner. She endured such humiliation, but to protect Yi Tang, she had no choice but to bear it. So Yi Tang staged the scene as if it were a Lu clan robbery, and then took Isaac. Thrilled by death, Yi Tang stared at Isaac in the cabinet with a smile. When outside, a sudden knock came at the door. Boss, why did you suddenly call me over? Didn't you tell us not to come near your office for an hour? The man stepped inside to find nothing but a mess all over the floor. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tang appeared behind him and struck fiercely. The blow was not fatal, but it hurt enough for the man to cry out and order others to chase Yi Tang. Yi Tang ran, puzzled. He had seen Isaac dismiss all the underlings and not call anyone else in. So who sent that man into the office? Guards were everywhere. Yi Tang cursed under his breath. He lowered his voice. They had not discovered that he was removed yet. There was still a way out, but someone suddenly appeared around the corner. Yi Tang stumbled when he caught sight of the removed, but luckily the man grabbed him before he fell. Careful, miss. Running so fast in a place like this is far too dangerous. From now on, walk more carefully. Yi Tang's heart was pounding so hard it nearly burst from his chest, until the word miss snapped him back to his senses. He looked up into the man's bewildered, worried face. Are you all right? Because he was too good looking, he had become the prey of a group prince. The Crown Prince disguised himself as an innocent youth to get close, deliberately intercepting him on his escape route. "Miss, are you all right? Why are you running so fast?" Yi Tang's mind was entirely focused on the thugs chasing him from behind, but Meng Yixing's gaze was fixed on the bloodstains on his sleeve. "That is a lot of removed. Are you injured?" Then, in obvious panic, he blurted, "It was not me who conflict you, right? Let me take a look." Why is his voice so loud? Yi Tang could not help feeling irritated. If he shouted like that, he would draw people over. He immediately dragged him into the restroom, pushed him into a stall, and covered his mouth. "Don't make a sound." He noticed his voice. That is the reason. Yet Meng Yixing's voice kept echoing out into the wild river. From outside came a loud, intense noise, and someone even suggested stripping Yi Tang and hanging him at the door. Hearing this, Meng Yixing was furious. "The removed on you is from them beating you. They all ganged up to bully you." Yi Tang was startled by his train of thought. This man seemed to have completely misunderstood the situation. Although he was wrong, telling the truth would actually be disadvantageous for Yi Tang. Better to go along for now to shut him up, so he would not start yelling again and attract that group over here. "Yes. So please do not make a sound. Let me hide here for a bit." Meng Yixing, feeling a surge of sweet courage, wanted to rush out. "If we do not deal with them, they will still come looking for you anyway. And you do not even know me. Stop sticking your nose into this." The more Yi Tang tried to dissuade him, the more he wanted to play the hero. "What does it matter if we know each other or not? Just because they are group members does not mean they can bully people as they please. I am not a local anyway, so I am not afraid of their retaliation. If you are scared of trouble, then when I start conflict them, take the chance to run. Don't worry. I am very good in a conflict." While feeling irritable, Yi Tang could not help but wonder, would someone really risk danger to help a stranger? Was it out of kindness, or did they have another agenda? If he came into contact with the group members, he would find out that I started this whole mess. Worse, Isaac's body might be discovered ahead of time. I can't let him expose my intentions. Zone, to keep the uninvolved safe. I have a way that does not require you to risk your life. To evade the killers, Yi Tang went so far as to voluntarily walk into the group heir's trap, even letting him take advantage of the situation. Eventually, the group members still found their way to the restroom. The man leading them clutched his area and got ready to search the stalls one by one. Suddenly, he heard an unspeakable sound, and Yi Tang noticed the man before him. Surprisingly, the man kept his distance, even bumping into him in Jingliang's area. Was he actually being polite? The group leader nearby was stunned when Meng Yixing's cold voice snapped him out of it. "Have you seen enough? If you have, then get lost." The man ran off in a panic, not forgetting to curse at the two of them for making him see something he should not. Outside the door, not only was that woman nowhere to be found, even Isaac, the boss, had vanished without a trace. Could he have gone off somewhere to mess around again? He loves slacking off and fooling around in the office. Meng Yixing was briefly stunned. Then, hearing their voices fade away, he hurriedly threw a coat over Yi Tang, taking advantage of them not coming back. "I will get you out of here quickly. If you go out in your own clothes, they will still notice you. Better if I give you my coat." Yi Tang tried to read something from his face, but Meng Yixing felt embarrassed under his gaze. "Put the clothes on first. Call me when you are done." With that, he hastily clutched the clothes and shut the door. Yi Tang did not come back to his senses for a long while. Was that considered an escape, while pulling on the clothes? Meng Yixing nervously tried to keep the conversation going. "When you told me to take off my clothes, I was scared. I did not expect you to use that trick, ha ha. Speaking of which, when you were wearing a mask, I did not realize you are Asian too. Are you a local Chinese?" Yi Tang listened to the man fanning himself nervously without replying, thinking to himself that the man had seen his face. If Isaac's body were discovered, he could easily connect me to the killer. I can't get too involved with him, but he is guarding the exit. How am I supposed to get past him? Suddenly noticing a breeze coming from above, Yi Tang looked up and had an idea. Meng Yixing was still waiting for him to respond. "Ah, I have been talking so much, I have not even introduced myself. My name is Meng Yixing. Meng as in a dream, Yixing as in faith. I am here from Macau on business in London. And your name is?" Suddenly, there was a clatter. Meng Yixing quickly pushed the door open, only to find the ventilation duct's cover lying on the ground. Meng Yixing instantly changed expression. Oh no, he actually escaped through the ventilation duct. What a suspicious person, but it is fine, we will meet again soon. Yi Tang, a guide with overly stunning looks, caught the eye of a gangster's heir. Drawn in by his thirst for revenge, he stepped right into the trap. And to escape the chaos of the district, he worked desperately, counting the meager wages in his hands along with the bread he held, dreaming of moving away from this godforsaken place. Even the worst house in a decent neighborhood would not go for less than 200. But that bastard Isaac has been pestering Mom like a madman lately. Is there any way out? I can't collapse again. As soon as he got home, he saw Isaac, looking like a lone wanderer, coming out of the room. Oh, our high-minded, busy man has returned. The smile in the man's eyes carried a sharp edge and a sense of mockery, which made Yi Tang's heart sink. Isaac, why? Are you in my house? What are you thinking? He threw away. The hollow look in his face, his trembling body covered in bruises, the tear tracks at the corner of his eyes like a string of beads broken loose. And even without seeing it with his own eyes, Yi Tang could guess how horrible the torture his mother had suffered. Memories from the past still made Yi Tang want to vomit. He burned the relics from the bridge under it. It is fine, just a piece of scum. Removed him means nothing to be afraid of. I am well prepared, they won't be able to trace it. Besides, even if that scum is dead, it won't erase the suffering Mom endured. The police just collude with the group, never caring whether we live or die. But once I took action, suddenly the police started working. How ironic. If they can catch me, let them try. Anyway, for beasts like Isaac, I will remove him as many times as he comes back, never letting him go. Right now Yi Tang is frantic, but he forces himself to calm down. The sudden memory of the police civilian voices jolts his nerves hard, and Yi Tang runs in a panic onto the bridge. He hears chaotic chatter. Go check it out. I heard someone from Lin 98 is dead. On Isaac's turf. Isaac is dead, and not only was his area slashed, his area was split open, stuffed full of white powder. Not just him, but also his 3 underlings. Everyone was removed. The group heir did not just pretend to be an innocent young man by chance. He also completely took care of all his troubles. It has been some time since Isaac's death, yet Yi Tang still could not figure it out. After the incident, the police immediately conducted a backtracking investigation, but never followed up on the case. For it to end up like this, the most likely reason is that the police classified it as a group feud. They left it to the group to handle. The underworld handles its own, so the culprits were likely tied to the group. Does that guy know I am the one who removed Isaac? Besides that, there is another question. If the group investigates this internally, will they trace it back to me? Even though I saw Isaac that day, and later all the underlings I met were removed, still, there is another person. If the group targets him, has he already left London? Luckily, for safety's sake, I have already arranged for my mom to stay at Armin's place first. Once it is confirmed safe, I will bring her back. For now, I need to deal with the other big trouble waiting at my door. After class, Lin Sheng remembered Yi Tang had not had time to escape before Zheng Zhu blocked him. Tang Ji, come with me to a party tonight. The man sat at his table as if he would not leave unless Yi Tang went with him, but Yi Tang pretended not to notice. No, I have homework to do. The man coaxed him to come and witness the grand event with him, but Yi Tang expressionlessly put away his feelings, thinking, we would better have nothing to do with each other, so we won't get caught by the professor. If it is exposed that you hired someone to do your work. The man complained in dissatisfaction. But besides you, who else can help me? Come on, do me a favor, you have got to see this through. I must attend this party today, because last time Yi Tang accompanied him, he was almost mistaken for someone selling himself and dragged into a private room, so this time he refused without even thinking. The handsome man chasing after Yi Tang was called Hao Dachang, English name Ku, claiming to be in the UK for study, though he could speak fewer than 10 sentences in English. His father had donated to the school, which got him admitted. But there was no way to make him understand. It was an English textbook, so a broke guy read for him instead. A man even better looking than most women was actually chasing after a handsome pauper from the district. Yi Tang only wanted to hide and quietly grow up, but the man behind him insisted on taking him to a party. Come with me, be my translator. Find me a good man, and I will give you £1,000. The reward for this exam will also be set aside for you. Yi Tang was tempted if he wanted to move out of the district. Even the cheapest rent had soared to £200. For his mother's sake, he compromised, but the condition was that Big Removed paid first. Big Removed happily agreed, grabbed his arm, and went to pick out some nice clothes. With the new little brother footing the bill, they laughed at the scene. Might as well buy since it is free. A trouble, the new little brother Big Removed secretly introduced him without me noticing. A Marcanese guy running a small business, trying hard to fit into the local scene and curry favor with me, so I let him tag along. He is actually quite decent looking, just a bit slow, totally not my type. Then, seeing someone's Nikes, Yi Tang suddenly nudged me. It was something he would been plotting for a long time, though he pretended it was unexpected. Knock knock, I am here to pick you up as we agreed. Then he deliberately glanced at Yi Tang with a hint of difference. Ah, it is you. That made Yi Tang's heart sink. Damn, I knew it. He is definitely going to start grilling me with questions. I need to change the subject before he brings it up in front of Big Removed. Hello, wow, I did not expect we have not met. You are Coco's friend, right? Pleasure, pleasure. I am new here, so I will be counting on you. Your bag looks heavy, let me carry it for you. Yi Tang, still dazed, followed the two into the banquet hall, while Big Removed kept urging Meng Yixing to drink. Come on, if you finish it all, I will have Dad sign the contract with you. Yi Tang kept staring at him from a distance. What kind of act was he putting on? Was he avoiding bringing up that we would met before because he would already realized I removed someone? Afraid I might turn on him, or did he have something else he could not let slip in front of Coco? Could it be that the dignified heir to a crime family was pretending to be clueless for the sake of a beautiful man? Even going so far as to disguise himself as a pitiful victim being bullied just to get close to him. Even if he looked foolish and slow, Yi Tang could not stop doubting him. After all, he was the only one who might know that Yi Tang had removed Isaac. Watching Meng Yixing being plied with drinks, Yi Tang found himself agreeing with Coco's remark about him being silly. No. If someone could act so convincingly, maybe he really did not seem like someone capable of removed. Still, he had to find a chance to probe him. Coco's voice suddenly interrupted his thoughts. Buddha relies on gold robes, and people rely on clothes. My handsome cousin looks amazing when dressed up. Now I can just say you are my distant relative, and no one with no eyes will dare come and harass you again. Suddenly noticing Meng Yixing being forced to drink by a group of rich kids was not surprising at all. Yi Tang asked what kind of business Meng Yixing had come to discuss to end up being made to drink like that. When it came to Meng Yixing, Coco's eyes held a touch more sympathy. He himself ran a catering business in Macau and had a relative who, whatever he wanted to do, would just spend money to have someone else do it for him. To be honest, Yi Tang actually disliked Coco very much. His starting point in life was probably a finish line Yi Tang could never reach no matter how hard he worked his whole life. And he was vulgar, shallow, yet arrogantly self-righteous. But at most, with such a privileged background, he just idled his time away, rather than embodying the refined elegance of an aristocrat. He wore a polished facade, pretending to be warmly friendly while manipulating and toying with others. A man from a humble background, yet handsome enough to catch the eye. Unexpectedly, he found his heart softening toward a group leader's son disguised in an innocent persona. Yi Tang was surprised to discover that even so-called upper-class young men secretly relied on him. Those people, along with Coco, looked down on him. They even insulted him as an unworthy upstart. These rich heirs were vile and shameless, waiting for the moment Coco could no longer protect Yi Tang. And now, they were setting their sights on Meng. They have already framed that kid, and next they plan to trick him into playing the game we often play, especially since Philip is the best at cheating in it. Hearing their conversation, Yi Tang's face instantly darkened, while Meng Yixing kept his area down so no one could see his expression. Everyone just knew he was the toughest one here. The young lady from the Fu family beside him persuaded, if it won't work, just go back. Only then did Meng Yixing lift his area and wipe the corner of his mouth. You said it yourself. No matter what happens later, you can't run away at the last moment. Meng Yixing readily agreed, but no one noticed the hidden tension in his eyes. Suddenly, a hand landed on his shoulder. What game are you guys playing? Count me in, okay. My bronze-ranked teammates ditched me, so I am all alone. Seeing his face clearly, Meng Yixing realized it was that silly kid. Hey, what happened to you? Yi Tang took the initiative to sit beside him. What is wrong with me? This gentleman I am meeting for the first time, Meng Yixing, famous for painting leaves, did not seem to know how to carry on painting. The young nobles nearby immediately set their sights on Yi Tang. A woman took the initiative to invite Yi Tang and explained the rules. After everyone draws their cards each round, they turn them over. Whoever has the highest rank on the table can give orders to the others, and the type of order depends on the suit. Clubs mean everyone drinks a glass together. Yi Tang handed the drink in his hand to Meng Yixing to help him sober up, while the woman's voice explaining the rules still rang in his ears. Meng Yixing squinted slightly at Yi Tang. Diamonds mean you pick one person to drink. Hearts mean you choose someone and ask a question. If they refuse to answer, they must kiss the person who asked. Meng Yixing took the drink but accidentally touched Yi Tang's hand. When the woman got to the rules for spades, she became excited. Yi Tang willingly brought it to his lips. Even Crown Prince He pretended to be clueless, but was already making calculations inside. Yi Tang can pick anyone at the table and give them any order she wants, and that person absolutely cannot refuse. Before Meng Yixing could protest against this twisted rule, Yi Tang had already taken a hard swig. Meng Yixing leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Hey, I need something from them, so there is no need for you to stir things up." But Yi Tang not only ignored him, she even found his words annoying. Finally, she raised a finger to her lips and said, "Quiet." In the first round, hearts were drawn. The woman happily raised the heart card in her hand. "I have got the highest card this round, now I get to start asking questions. Mr. Yi, if tonight you had to choose someone here to go home with, who would it be?" Yi Tang said, "With anyone here, I would not be losing out. In fact, I have already decided I must take someone home tonight." Two of the hangers-on exchanged meaningful glances. "You said it yourself, so do not take it back later." Second round was clubs. Another woman drew the biggest card. Unfortunately, in this round she had to drink a glass with everyone. One of the extra guests reminded Philip to shuffle the cards properly. Meng Yixing instinctively watched Philip's hand movements as he shuffled, staying focused. In the end, she still leaned closer to Yi Tang. Lowering her voice, she asked, "Are they betting money?" Yi Tang did not reply, gripping his cards tightly. Philip suddenly hummed happily with the cards in his hand. This round probably won't get any bigger. She slammed a spade down hard on the table. "I choose Yi Tang to carry out my order." But before she could say the order, Yi Tang interrupted her. "Wait, I think your card is not the highest. Because I have a spade." The others were shocked. "No way." Yi Tang did not give them any time to react, "So it is my turn to choose someone and give orders, right?" Saying that, he grabbed Meng Yixing's wrist. "I already said I am taking someone with me today no matter what. I choose this one." Meng Yixing still looked dazed, not yet recovered from the serious moment. Yi Tang had already locked his arm around hers. "As for what orders I will give her, that is just between us." In order to get close to the handsome prince, the group had injured her wrist. Who would have thought the prey would deliver itself to the door? Yi Tang pulled Meng Yixing into the hotel room. "Thanks for getting me out of their hands." Meng Yixing looked like she was about to throw up, but in the underworld, you can't always act on your own will. "I have to close this deal. I would better go back and sound them out a bit more," she said, starting to sway. Looking as if she might collapse at any moment, Yi Tang pressed her down. "What toughness are you talking about? You can't even stand steady. That drink was way too much. And those bastards even put money into playing cards with you. Do you really think they would let you get what you want so easily?" Meng Yixing was about to say something, but Yi Tang took out a towel and told her to cool her stomach. "If you want to go back and keep playing those boring games with them, it means you still have to follow the rules. And the rules say you must obey my orders right now. Stay right here and do not go anywhere." Meng Yixing frowned in discomfort. "Orders? Don't tell me this room is also part of your orders." But Yi Tang told her she was overthinking it. Even though Meng Yixing had indeed been looking forward to it, her mood was inevitably tinged with some disappointment. "No wonder you are also skilled at spending money. That is how you managed to change the cards right under their noses." Suddenly, from next door, came a strange sound, making Yi Tang's body tense up. The noise kept getting louder. Yi Tang's awkward attempt to defuse the situation had failed. I could see that if this person kept drinking, something bad was going to happen. So I got a room to let her rest for a while, but this place was just a rundown spot full of young airs laughing behind spring smiles. Every room had its own special purpose. Meng Yixing suddenly sat up, clutching a towel, and complained, "Will the noise next door ever stop? It is so noisy it is driving me crazy," she said, still sneaking glances at Yi Tang's reaction. Yi Tang awkwardly turned his face away and refused to look. "I can only let it be for now. What else can I do? I am guessing they will stop once they have had enough. I will step out for a bit and come back when you have rested." Just as the words fell, Meng Yixing grabbed Yi Tang's door handle, unwilling to let her prey escape. She quickly caught his wrist as if holding a beautiful prize. But upon meeting Yi Tang's sharp gaze, she feigned innocence and pulled her hand back. "No, I do not have any other intentions in keeping you here. Those people lost to you at cards and were clearly plotting something. They only let us leave earlier because they did not react in time. If you go out alone now, you will definitely be harassed and hassled if you meet them. That is why I am saying this." Yi Tang seemed to be convinced by her. Originally, he had planned to wait until the embarrassing noise died down to test her further, but she was not wrong. He might as well go along with her suggestion. Thinking of this, Yi Tang sat down by the bed again, deliberately teasing her. "Now you are being so considerate, but when we met this afternoon you pretended not to care. I knew you were holding a grudge, that is why. Can you really blame me? I never thought we would meet again. You could call it fate, I guess. But last time at the bar, I did help you after all, and yet you acted like you were avoiding me, even escaping through the ventilation duct. Seeing you so determined to keep your distance, I figured this reunion must be trouble for you." Guessing right, Yi Tang laughed awkwardly, feeling a little guilty. How could that be? But then Meng Yixing's next words put her on guard. "Still, I think I understand. That day you were dressed as a woman and even had a run-in with the group. I do not know the reason, but it is obviously personal, not something convenient for Sister Coco to know, right? So it makes sense you would avoid meeting me in front of her." Meng Yixing chuckled, but then noticed Yi Tang's shocked expression. She quickly feigned guilt and buried her face in the blanket. "Why are you looking at me like that? People always say I am not that smart, but I do have some sense. My mom always told me that not exposing someone's difficulties is helping them and helping yourself too." Yi Tang calmed down and asked, "Aren't you curious why the group is after me?" Meng Yixing's hand crept closer. "Of course I am curious, but even if I asked, you would not tell me, would you? To be honest, I also have a lot I can't easily talk about." When you feel ready, we can exchange stories. Oh, by the way, speaking of group, has that soul orb that chased you the other day been giving you trouble? Yi Tang, how did you know about this? And thinking about how this matter was covered up by both the police and the group. If she had nothing to do with the group, she naturally would not know. But that does not mean she won't notice later. Ever since the group's young master set his sights on the handsome Qinglan, she has been pretending to be sweet and naive every day. She acts so convincingly that Yi Tang has started doubting himself, enduring the bullying from a bunch of fools who crossed the line just to take back what was rightfully hers. Though single-minded, she always considers others first. She really does seem like a kind-hearted fool who is not very smart. I can't believe I ever suspected someone like her might be hiding a blade for me. Thinking about it, I do not really have anything worth scheming over. I have quietly nurtured a bit of confusion inside. But Yi Tang has reached a point of no return. Whether or not he wants to be the villain, he has no choice. That day I was terrified by the group and collapsed, fleeing in panic without a clear path, thinking only of myself and not keeping up with her. I truly feel sorry. But since we can still meet again, it is fate that brought us together, and it has also given me a chance to properly repay you. Otherwise, how about this? While you are in London, I will be your tour guide. Yi Tang decided to use the opportunity as a guide to carefully observe her, and moreover, he kept feeling there was some strange detail he had overlooked. I lay on the bed, staring at the card in my hand, and kept grinning like a fool. I want this one. You helped me with this card, and I am going to treat it as a lucky charm, more than you were overly handsome in your youth. To get close to her, the group prince was willing to play the innocent fool. Meng Yixing suddenly came closer, and Yi Tang thought she was going to do something, but it turned out she just wanted that card. I really should not have gotten all worked up for nothing. She suddenly lunged forward and startled me. But nothing happened, and in the end she just fell asleep. On her own. Looking at her sleeping face, I muttered, idiot. Then I froze. Wait, why does this feel like I was expecting something to happen? Must be this strange atmosphere in the room. I can't stay here any longer, but if I go out, I might run into those people. So Yi Tang decided to slip away quietly, but ended up running into a group that had broken in. Sirius Shot was under the Star Alliance's banner, and Richard was the third in command of the Alliance. They had broken in to capture the killer who removed Isaac. Hearing Richard say the killer was right here in this club, Yi Tang hid himself behind the wall, his body tensing instinctively. How could it be them? Could they already know that the killer who removed Isaac was me? Just as he was about to panic, Richard suddenly approached. Long time no see. Yi Tang felt the pressure, but still forced himself to respond to Richard. Richard suddenly grabbed his hand. I saw you coming out of a room. Back then you refused my dinner invitation, saying you did not want to keep working for the group. I thought you would found some decent, respectable path. Turns out you are just mixing around in a place like this, offering room service to spoiled rich kids. Yi Tang did not expect to be humiliated like that right away, and immediately gritted his teeth in anger. Typical of people like you. Then he shook off Richard's hand. At least I know exactly what kind of person I am. The only words you can manage are full of contempt. That is right, just take me for an ungrateful, self-indulgent fool. Yi Tang's wrist was gripped so hard it hurt, but he still fought back with sarcasm. Mr. Richard, with such a noble status, yet you keep stepping in to save me. Don't you think that is a bit beneath your dignity? Light could not stand seeing his boss humiliated and was about to carry him away, but Richard stopped him. We are here today for Isaac's death, to demand an explanation from the current boss here. As for saving Yi Tang, we will deal with that later. With that, he left without looking back. See you, Tang. Yi Tang finally let out a sigh of relief. It seemed he did not know he was the killer, and even thought the removed had something to do with the club's owner. Though it was odd, Yi Tang decided to leave first and think about it later. But Peter had no intention of letting him go. As Yi Tang turned around, he quickly raised the iron rod in his hand. With a sharp clang, Richard instinctively turned his area. At some point, Meng Yixing had reached him. With one hand, he blocked the iron rod, and with the other, pulled Yi Tang aside. Richard clenched his teeth and used all his strength. But the look Meng Yixing gave him was as if he were staring at a dead man, a beautiful boy from the district. The charismatic air of the underworld and the group second in command were vying fiercely. Yi Tang did not put much effort into saving Richard, but his strength was blocked by Richard's subordinate Ji Hen. The sneak conflict aimed at Yi Tang was stopped barehanded by Meng Yixing. Yi Tang's allies moved in to check his injuries, but Meng Yixing just grinned, pulled his hand back, and clenched his fist to reassure him. I woke up and found you were not in the room, then heard a commotion outside the door. I ran out, worried someone was giving you trouble. I thought it was those guys from earlier who were playing cards with you. As Meng Yixing spoke, his gaze toward Richard and the others turned cold, but from the looks of it, it does not seem to be them. Richard lashed out at Peter for causing trouble for Yi Tang. Peter said he could not stand seeing Yi Tang being disrespectful to the boss, and besides, why should he? It is our group's casino. How can some lousy outsider just come and go as he pleases? When has the Star Alliance ever been such a casual place? According to Star Alliance rules, anyone who joins the group but tries to betray it either gets their legs broken or a finger cut off. Richard stared straight at Yi Tang. Richard's anger could not be contained. Chen Sheng chimed in to support Peter's words. You are right. If I can't get away with it, why should this punk be able to? Only then did Meng Yixing realize that Richard's hostility was directed at him. Unable to find the club's owner, Richard decided to settle the matter with Yi Tang first. All right, Tang, be good. Come over here. This made Meng Yixing turn the other way. Your men wanted to conflict him first, and now you want him to come over. Who knows what you might do to him? Yi Tang was afraid he would anger Richard, so the alliance held him back. Don't provoke him. I will talk to him. Mr. Richard, whatever misunderstanding your men have, I have never joined Star Alliance. Back then you also. It was just an ordinary job. You would not force me to join. Richard chuckled at this. I did say that, but now I have changed my mind. So, you would better learn to change yours too, Tang. We have already had too much pointless chatter. Even for me, patience has its limits. Don't think that just because I have given you a bit of leeway for your talent, you can act arrogant and push your luck. I said, come here. You do not want to drag that brat beside you into this because of your own business, do you? Yi Tang glanced over as Meng Yixing prepared to move forward. Seeing this, Meng Yixing panicked. Are you really going over there? But Yi Tang now had no choice. Richard of the Black Sand had seized territory from Violent Wenling by force. Yet after meeting him, Yi Tang found he did not seem as violent as the rumors claimed, which made Yi Tang think he might be someone reasonable. Only now did Yi Tang realize how naive he was. How could a gangster be reasonable? Richard was right. My affairs must not involve Meng Yixing. This thought drove Yi Tang to reach toward Richard, but before Richard could grab him, someone intercepted. Meng Yixing gripped Yi Tang's hand tightly, refusing to let go, and taunted Richard. I get it now. When this happened, someone started playing the game of unrequited love and acting out of frustration, but the problem is, even if it is not someone you like, there should at least be some basic respect. Right, yet you resort to verbal humiliation and conflict, and now you are pressure and forcing the other person against their will. Sir, the person you like will end up hating you. That is not how it should be. Richard successfully angered him. Ha ha, respect. As he spoke, he threw something at Meng Yixing's greyhound. Let us see if you are even worthy of my respect. Yi Tang did not even have time to react. Meng Yixing was pushed down by Richard. Yi Tang instinctively wanted to step in to help. I do not want him unresponsive. Just do not move. Richard's confronted was blocked by Meng Yixing. He was a bit surprised. It was not bad at all. Meng Yixing still had that carefree look. Flattering, but that is about it anyway. He would not just start throwing punches because he had some skills. Richard got angry with him again. You brat, I have plenty of ways to deal with you without using my fists. Meng Yixing clenched his fist in response. It is easy for you to take my life. That is just my nature. But before I came here, Cuckoo introduced me to this serious club. He said the guests here are all distinguished unless absolutely necessary. Do not cause trouble with others, even if you have to swallow your pride. But if you really can't stand being provoked, this serious club has a useful way to settle disputes by setting up a bet. He said this rule was established by the previous owner of this club, Mr. Richard, and it has been in use ever since. Yi Tang did not expect Meng Yixing to be able to stand his ground against Richard in terms of strength. Not only was Meng Yixing unafraid of Richard, he even thought of provoking him. I heard you say at the door that you are a man of principles. Shouldn't you follow the rules you set yourself? That way, we can determine the winner without involving innocent people. Richard laughed. You want to bet with me? Do you even know the kind of stakes involved in this kind of gamble? There is only one kind. What? Are you scared? Relax, I do not want your life. If I lose, you can do whatever you want with mine. But if I win, you have to let Yi Tang go and promise not to bother him anymore. So, are you going to respect the rules you set yourself, Mr. Richard, the man of principles? The prince is willing to risk his life gambling with Qin Di for the sake of a beauty. But his innocent and harmless persona was doubted by the beauty the moment they first met. Because she did not want Meng Yixing to lose his life for her, Yi Tang kept trying to cause trouble, but Richard ordered his men to pin her down at the gambling table. Enough, Yi Tang. Stop struggling. I think the game is quite good, but you have been trying non-stop to ruin it since the beginning. It is really annoying. Yi Tang could only move her lips. Annoying? Hey, fine, as long as you throw Meng Yixing out of here right now, I will agree to go with you. There is no need to involve him. Richard was so furious he wanted to take down gently Qin Di on the spot. He interrupted Yi Tang directly. He bet his life on the rules I set. Emotionally and logically. I should not refuse, right, but do not worry when the time comes, I will definitely throw this Meng guy out, after I take his life. Meng Yixing still had that carefree look, not worried about his life at all. Wait, how did it escalate to taking my life? The game has not even started yet. Who wins or loses is still uncertain. Richard laughed in anger. You are quite confident. Meng Yixing smiled and flexed his fingers. No, but gambling, it is purely luck. Honestly, I want to say that even if we fight, I would not lose to you. But one must be realistic. Even if I win, we will both be badly hurt, so, Yi Tang, if both he and I are seriously injured, but he still has his men, I still can't guarantee your safety. Betting on luck might have a better chance of winning. So do not oppose it. Yi Tang did not know whether to call him foolish or brave. Such a big matter, why are you pretending to be smart and making blind calculations? Stop dragging me into this mess. Meng Yixing showed a confident smile too late. I am determined to get involved in this mess today. Yi Tang was stunned by his serious expression. He Guan began emphasizing the rules. According to the wishes of the two guests, this gambling session will be conducted in the form of the game Suo Ha. Since both parties have decided on the stakes, there will be no additional betting rounds during the game. One cannot withdraw from the game. One round determines the winner. Now, let us deal the card. Suo Ha is a game played with 4 suits of 8 cards, totaling 28 cards. Each person can receive 5 cards. For cards drawn to the maximum face value, 1 card drawn first but revealed last, and the player with the largest face value among the final 5 cards wins. Richard reveals 2 queens and 1 card. Meng Yixing reveals 2 cards and 1 stone. Peter's face shows a triumphant smile. The boss's cards are famously well marked. Fine, even without drawing, he won't lose. But Meng Yixing is an unknown factor, so we can't let our guard down. That is why I secretly pressure He Guan before the game started, behind the boss's back. If the signal he just gave me is correct, Meng Yixing's hidden card is a bar. Yi Tang keenly notices the eye contact between He Guan and Peter. His expression instantly changed now. 3 of the 4 cards have been revealed, and the final card is about to be dealt. Meng Yixing's 4th card is another 10. What about Richard's 4th card? This means Meng Yixing must form 3 of a kind after revealing his whole card, and that 3 of a kind has to be higher than queens to beat Richard. But unfortunately, the last card on the table is in Richard's hand. You can't possibly have a 3 of a kind higher than queens trying to use the game to take Yi Tang away. Your clever plan backfired, kid. Since you agreed to gamble with your life, be a man and honor your word. Choose your own justice. Yi Tang panicked. Mr. Richard, I just said I never agreed to this bet. Meng Yixing is not a local and made the bet with you after hearing some rumors. He does not understand the situation at all. Besides, I had already agreed to go with you before the bet, right? So Meng Yixing's opinions and thoughts do not matter. This issue is between the two of us. There is no need to listen to what Meng Yixing says. This bet should not exist in the first place. Seeing Yi Tang defend his rival, Richard's face turned even darker. Now you can do it. But why could not you before? Fine. Since you say you can, then please me in front of everyone here. Yi Tang froze in place. Richard could not help but mock him. You can't do it, can you? If you could do it, it would not be you. Stop spouting nonsense that even you do not believe. Today, I am definitely going to take down gently this brat. This is the price you pay for not obeying me. Earlier Meng Yixing, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke up, interrupting the nauseating victory speech. The reason I have not said a word all this time is not because I have lost, but because I do not know how to explain the current situation. Could it be that the amulet I sought earlier is really that effective? The word amulet triggered something in Yi Tang's mind. Meng Yixing's lips curled into a vague smile. He revealed his final card. I know this situation is rare, but it is not unheard of. What if I am just incredibly lucky? What if there is a 5th card on this table, and it just happens to be my trump card, allowing me to beat Mr. Richard's 3 queens? Seeing the 3-month-old pen, he was stunned. How could there be 2 spades in one deck? Yi Tang never expected that he would put the card he took from him onto the table. Noticing Yi Tang was watching him, Meng Yixing paused for a moment. Then he gestured toward Yi Tang and said, "How about it? Not bad, right?" Yi Tang let out a sigh of relief, curious about when he swapped the card. In front of so many people, not a single person noticed. He Guan panicked. "No, that is impossible. Please believe me, I checked before dealing the cards." Mr. Richard, this has nothing to do with me. Richard stared at Meng Yixing and smiled. You actually dared to cheat. Meng Yixing remained as relaxed as ever. Strange. Why do you think I am the one cheating? If someone were to cheat, would not a casino owner like yourself be much better at it than me? Peter can't stand seeing his boss being framed. Are you betting that our boss would need to cheat? Instead, it is you who played dirty and swapped cards. I have to ask. Your bottom card was clearly a scar, so why did it turn into? He stopped mid-sentence, realizing he had let something slip. Meng Yixing smiled. My bottom card was clearly a scar. That is quite an interesting thing to say. Ah, I see now. So it was you who rigged the game. You colluded with Higuan to deal me the cards. Just to make me lose. You wanted to give me a scar card, but somehow messed up and ended up with a 5th card instead. Peter slammed the table and shouted, "Don't you dare spout nonsense." Mengesin stood up slowly and said, "Nonsense, here's a little suggestion. You would better admit that you are the one talking nonsense. Right now. Because, if you do not want to admit defeat, you are just making baseless accusations. Otherwise, you will have to admit that you colluded with Higuan to rig the game, and still failed miserably. Everyone here is a well-known figure in this town. Are you the only one who can't afford to lose, so you make up lies to smear me, or are all of you in on this rigged game together? It is up to you to decide which side you are on." The Night Hall Fox is staring at Mengesin. So, it was not my imagination. Ever since Richard and his group appeared, Mengesin has been like a different person. Mengesin approached the Night Hall, brushing off the hand holding the Night Hall's insider. But regardless of whether you made a mistake when drawing the cards, mixed up the cards, or Higuan did not check properly, resulting in the 5th card being mixed in, the fact remains that I won this gamble. As agreed, I can take the Night Hall away now, right? Richard calmly flicked his cigarette ash, as if he had heard a joke. All right, let us do it that way. The Night Hall can leave, but you have to leave your life behind. Saying this, he pulled out a device. Stop pretending, kid. What is the deal with that card of yours? You know better than anyone how chaotic the Night Hall is. Richard, Mr. Mengesin, how did the extra Mengesin come about? I do not know, but I happen to know something else. Do you want to let Mengesin go? I hope you will make your decision after hearing what I am about to say. Richard smiled. You spoke, and Night Hall leaned in. He whispered a lot in his ear. Mengesin could not help but feel curious. Suddenly Richard's pupils widened instantly. Shocked, he even stood up from his chair. How do you know about this? But then he calmed down. I understand now. You were willing to come with me earlier because you still have something to protect yourself with. Negotiating with me like this gave Night Hall confidence. To deal with people like you and still walk away unscathed. Of course, I had to keep a few cards up my sleeve. Unfortunately, this occasion is not the right time to bring up this matter. And because this matter could cause you trouble, I originally intended to keep it buried. Out of the respect I still have for you, I did not want to bring it up. But tonight, you said I should learn to change my thinking, so I accepted your advice. Richard laughed, unsure if he was angry or excited. Ha ha, Night Hall, you really are something. Taking advantage of the moment, Night Hall grabbed Meng Yixing and walked away. Suddenly, Richard burst into laughter. He called out Night Hall's name, startling him enough to stop and turn back. To everyone's surprise, Richard apologized to him. About tonight, I am truly sorry. Although I find it hard to accept, I understand the frustration you must feel towards people like us. So, as a sincere suggestion, be careful of that brat beside you. Feeling guilty, Meng Yixing hastily defended himself. Hey, what did I do? You are such a sore loser. Still trying to stir up trouble at this point. Night Hall was indeed starting to doubt him, and their interaction at the gambling table was fully observed by the club owner. The scene at the table was completely visible to the club owner. Boss, Richard and his gang are causing such a scene at the club. Are we really okay not showing up? Sirius took a sip from his glass and said, Isaac and the others' deaths, even after the police investigation, are being blamed on us. Richard is a brute who does not listen to reason. Even if I go out and talk to him, would it make a difference? They are just a pack of wild dogs. Let them run wild. They will tire themselves out and leave. But thanks to this chaos, I discovered something unexpected. We need to keep a close eye on Meng Yixing. At this moment, Meng Yixing followed Yi Tang back to the car. Tonight was truly thrilling for me, he said. What are you planning to do next? I do not think Richard will let this go easily. Ba Cheng will keep bothering you, Meng Yixing said. Yi Tang calmly took out his cigarette and replied, not in the short term. What I told him is enough to keep him in check. Meng Yixing was extremely curious. He wanted Yi Tang to tell him more, but was interrupted by the ringing of his phone. 121. Yi Tang silently helped him bandage the wound. Meng Yixing, what did I say to Richard? You should worry about yourself first. I told you it was dangerous to get struck lightly by that heavy iron rod. But you kept pretending you were fine just now. Meng Yixing stubbornly refused to admit it. Yi Tang suddenly pulled the bandage tighter, causing Meng Yixing to cry out in pain. 123. Let me give you a quick treatment first. You must see a doctor tomorrow. Got it? Risking your life against gangsters, and using that hand to draw cards in front of everyone might as well let the pain take down gently. You. Honestly, it seems like you do not even want to live. 124. Meng Yixing blew on his aching wrist, feeling aggrieved. I did not want this either. But you could not care less about these things, could you? I had to gamble everything just to turn a bicycle into a motorcycle. Luckily, you distracted Richard by talking to him. giving me the chance to switch the cards during the test. Yetang stared at his profile, even more confused. So, is this really turning a bicycle into a motorcycle? 126. Or were you just pretending to be clueless, coming prepared to play the fool? Thinking about it, Yetang smirked. All right, I have finished treating the wound on your arm. Let me check the other injuries for you too. 128. Seeing Yetang boldly pull open his collar, Meng Yixing panicked. Before he could speak, Yi Tang, who was approaching, interrupted him. You and Richard collided with the junior, right? Take off your clothes, let me check for you. Okay, the fearsome and intimidating prince suddenly turned into a naive and sweet fool in front of the poor boy, hearing the other party's insistence on thoroughly checking his body. Meng Yixing instinctively wanted to refuse. No, that is not necessary. But Yi Tang said he was worried about a spinal injury. He then used a persuasive tone. If it were not for helping me, you would not have encountered this. I am really worried. Let me check for you. Okay, Yi Tang did not want to doubt someone who had saved him, but he still examined Meng Yixing's back. Do you feel dizzy now? Meng Yixing pretended not to understand his concerns and obediently replied, no. Yi Tang could not help but be suspicious. After all, the timing of Meng Yixing's appearances was too coincidental, and his enthusiastic and straightforward kindness always seemed perfectly measured. To maintain just the right distance, it felt like a carefully orchestrated act designed to disarm and win trust. Unfortunately, Yi Tang did not believe in the existence of any romantic gestures that came without a price. After touching his muscles, Yetang's eyes narrowed slightly with a hint of probing. You really have the physique of someone who trains. Interesting. Someone like you. Running a business and living carefree like a young master. Do you often get into fights? Meng Yixing replied that the business his family runs is hardly worth mentioning. And what kind of young master am I, after tonight's experience? Young master, such a fancy term, it sounds more like an insult. Yetang still had not let go of his doubts about him. When I handed you the key just now, I felt the device calluses on your hand. That is not something you see every day. Impressive. Surely you are not practicing design. Are you? Yetang was eager to know what he wanted from him. Meng Yixing did not answer him but instead grabbed his hand directly. Are you helping me check my injury, or are you looking for something else? Yetang chuckled. Strange. Could it be that you think there is something else about your injury that I absolutely cannot miss? Meng Yi's slightly confused eyes showed a hint of pressure. The next moment, he foolishly covered his face. Of course, it is because I look good, but you can't keep staring at me like this. We have only met twice, and you have made me take off my clothes twice. If this continues, I will start thinking you are inspecting my body. His reaction was unexpected to Yi Tang, and it was not entirely impossible. Meng Yi blushed and stood still. Yi Tang said he was just kidding. In the end, Meng Yi sent Yi Tang home. Before leaving, Yi Tang specifically mentioned that he would take him out for a proper tour in a few days. As Meng Yi's car drove away, the smile on Yi Tang's face instantly disappeared. How strange. Judging from the marks on his hand, he must have been someone who carried a device year-round, living in a conflict-ridden environment, but he does not have a single scar on his body. Physically, he is clearly someone who has lived a life of privilege. However, when I touched his body from his blind spot, his muscles instantly reacted with a precise, defensive reflex, although he immediately relaxed afterward. That kind of reaction is not something an ordinary person could achieve. In any case, whatever his intentions are in approaching me, he absolutely has the ability to harm or control me, yet he has not done so. He does not seem to harbor any malice toward me. So, what exactly is he after? Could he really be trying to flirt with me? But at least I gained something from this. I confirmed that he is deliberately pretending to be an innocent fool, even going so far as to complain theatrically about how far I pulled his clothes. Just wait, this is only the beginning. Watch as I strip away your pretense layer by layer, like peeling off your clothes. Armin owes me a favor and 2 roses. I can use his connections to thoroughly investigate Meng Yixing. Yi Tang was stunned as soon as he pushed open the door to see if anyone had entered the house. He had placed something in the door frame, and now the item in the door frame was gone. Meng Yixing swaggered back into the villa. The person who opened the door was clearly surprised. My young master is actually back. I thought you were going to stay out tonight, drunk in the arms of a beauty. Chang Jiala is the current red pole of the Hong Kong-based Ziwei Hall. Meng Yixing laughed at his injured, soaked appearance. You came to open the door like this. What if Yi Tang, who is itching all over, followed me and is now watching from a distance? Chang Jiala closed the door expressionlessly. Could someone have followed him without him knowing? Besides, he is busy right now. I tampered with the small mechanism on his door to make him think someone had been inside. He is probably at home now, frantically investigating a non-existent intruder. Meng Yixing is so cunning, tricking me like this. Jiala, you really are a scheming bad guy. This stunt disgusted Chang Jiala so much he dropped his cigarette. You sick pervert, stop slandering me. I only did this because you told me to. Our young master of Ziwei Hall, the current leader, Meng Shuchen in Hong Kong. Few people know Meng Shuchen. But if you mention Ziwei Hall, everyone knows about it. The former leader of Ziwei Hall, Meng Hongyi, was a legendary figure, influential in both the underworld and legitimate circles. However, as anti-crime operations intensified, many crime bosses began seeking transformation, and Meng Hongyi was one of them. Meng Shuchen, the only son of Meng Hongyi, was well known in the underworld for being deeply loved by his father. To protect his wife and son from the injured whirlpool of gang conflicts, Meng Hongyi kept them secretly abroad for years. Strangely, when the gang was at its peak, Meng Hongyi went to great lengths to protect Meng Shuchen. Yet, when the gang began to decline, he summoned Meng Shuchen back and made him the current leader of Ziwei Hall. This is how Meng Yixing responded. Lazai, I have said this many times. My position as the head of the Chinese syndicate is basically just a shield. Coming to London this time is just an excuse to secure some new business opportunities for the gang, while also earning some experience and a way out for myself. So stop bringing up my previous identity all the time, Chang Jiala replied with an exasperated tone. No, young master. I follow the right person and the right path, so I have to constantly remind you of your status and identity. Otherwise, you will keep using the excuse that you are just a powerless puppet to lower the standards I hold myself to as a top-tier enforcer. Meng Yixing looked annoyed. If that is the case, why do not you just go work in a fancy office building in Central? Why bother being in the underworld? Chang Jiala did not want to continue this topic. Stop rambling. How did it go today? Did Richard really believe that Fabian's people take down Gently Isaac and came to cause trouble? Meng Yixing responded confidently. He totally bought it. With just a little more effort, this internal conflict within the Star Alliance will completely erupt. And I have also managed to successfully draw Yi Tang's suspicion towards me. Chang Jiala was even more speechless. Who asked about Yi Tang, and what do you mean by drawing suspicion? Seeing his confusion, he continued. Meng Yixing gestured and said, relax, I have got this under control. Yi Tang's suspicion is actually a necessary step for us to ignite the next fire. Chang Jiala did not believe a word of it. I knew letting you approach Yi Tang was a mistake. If I would known this would happen, I should have restrained you when you started acting up over 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Chang Jiala was in the driver's seat praying to the goddess of wealth. Honey, I came to the UK with the young master this time to find new opportunities for the gang. Once this is done, we will take over the Star Alliance's current influence and make a fortune. When I return to Hong Kong, I will bring plenty of offerings to the temple to repay your blessings, you and the kid must keep blessing me to strike it rich. Don't go falling for someone else just because I am temporarily away in a foreign country. Meng Yixing keeps calling me a pervert while holding a telescope and obsessing over the grass. How good is your mental state anyway? If I were the god of wealth and someone treated me like that, I would cut off their fortune for 3 generations. Chang Jiala, stop looking around for fun while your subordinates are working seriously. Shut up, you useless scatterbrain. You are the one who said we need to find a chance to take down Gently Isaac from the Star Alliance and that we must prepare in advance. So, you asked me to come near this jungle bar to keep an eye on him, but after circling around for ages, you made me park the car in this godforsaken corner where we can't even see his shadow. If you are hoping he will suddenly drop unresponsive on his own, at least find a wishing pool covered in turtles to make your wish. Meng Yixing found Hunter 5 and got so excited. Haha, because now we do not need to keep an eye on Isaac anymore. What we need to focus on now is that person. The one on the far end of the second floor of the cafe. Chang Jiala could not help but whistle while holding the telescope. What a stunning woman. Meng Yixing, however, is already plotting to kidnap her back to Hong Kong for the company's film. Chang Jiala still remembered when Ding Xiao handed the binoculars to Meng Yixing. Focus, we are here in London for political and economic matters, not for you to find a romantic fling. What is wrong with you? Have you become so distracted that you have started picking wildflowers on the roadside in the UK? Meng Yixing glanced at Yi Tang again and laughed at your foolishness. Come on, open your eyes and take a good look. Is that person even yours? Fine, he said. Let me ask you this instead, if we were to target Isaac Ding Xiao, where do you think the best vantage point would be? It was only then that Chang Jiala realized what he meant. Meng Yixing pointed toward Yi Tang's position. Our beautiful friend in drag over there. Right now, they are sitting in the best position to target Isaac Ding Xiao. This person is disguised to conceal their true identity and is constantly on alert, scanning the surroundings to see if anyone is watching them. Their counter-surveillance skills are top-notch, but they are reading a contract law textbook while doing it. They do not seem like one of us. They are polite but shy, and even ordering a cup of coffee seems like a struggle for them. They feel embarrassed about it but still force themselves to stay in that spot. Someone like them getting to the best vantage point for Ding Xiao before us, I do not believe it is a coincidence. Are they here for Isaac Ding Xiao, or do they have some other purpose related to the Star Alliance? Who is he? Is there something else going on behind the scenes, or is it the local police? Locke, do you believe that if we had stuck to our original plan to take out Isaac, it would be as exposed in front of this treasure now? At that time, do not even think about taking over the syndicate's territory, making big money in London, and returning to Hong Kong for good. We would have been exposed before we even started, and this little beauty would have seen us naked. That is why Chang K. Locke has to take the Enterprise Hall seriously. We need to thoroughly investigate this Liang Nui brothers' background. We only have one chance to stir up internal conflict within the syndicate. We can't let this uncertain factor ruin it. That being said, I think you are the biggest uncertainty here. To be honest, are you up to your old tricks again, trying to stage some drama and then use this Liang Nui brother for your amusement, right? Mengisin does not agree with your so-called drama. What is wrong with finding some fun in work while being serious about it? If it were not for my vigilance, when would you have noticed his unusual behavior? You stirred up Chang K. Locke. I do not care if you want to have fun, but do not add to my workload. My hands are already full with the tasks you, the young master, have thrown at me this week. We need to secretly plan and arrange everything to ensure that after Isaac's serious consequence, his boss Richard believes the killer is from within their own gang, planting the seeds of internal conflict in the syndicate. Only then can we take advantage of their infighting to seize their territory and business. I do not have time to be part of your and Liang Nui brothers' game. Mengisin would not let him play. He grabbed Chang K. Locke's wishing bottle. If I am interested in someone, I will investigate him myself. But your wife and kids can play along. Lend them to me for a bit. You know me, I have always been someone who values principles. Since I want to get to know this charming friend of yours properly, figure out where he is coming from, and have some fun with him, it would not be fair if he is in the light while I am in the shadows. What fun is there in an unfair game? Even a dog would not feel at ease. So, let us stick to the usual rules and pick a restriction from this CTG. I will make it harder for myself. How hard? I will leave that to the gods. If something goes wrong, they will take the blame. Since the god of wealth is here, I will trouble you this time. Saying this, he pulled out a slip of paper. He glanced at the contents and smiled meaningfully. Your wife and kids are quite appealing. This time, this charming friend is truly my lucky encounter. The game identity is naive boy. And the rule for winning is to make the other person fall in love with me when I get close to them. At this point, Meng Yixing began to follow and investigate Yi Tang. After learning about Yi Tang's identity, abilities, and the fact that he also planned to take down Gently Isaac, Meng Yixing decided to involve Yi Tang, who had some past connections with Xinmeng, in his plan to steal Xinmeng's power. Thus, the Shaw ethnic from Hong Kong and the Shaw ethnic from London met on this land. A handsome young man born in the slums was crazily pursued by the Black Prince. He even pretended to be a harmless fool. Yi Tang guessed his intentions by mistake, and to confirm it, he used a beauty to seduce him. Meng Yixing fell into the trap and foolishly bragged about it to his subordinates. He was very interested in the secrets Yi Tang and Richard talked about, believing they would be very useful in disrupting Xinmeng. Chang Jiala was speechless. You made Yi Tang suspicious of you. If he guards against you, how can you get this secret? Meng Yixing deliberately rolled his eyes. Why not? In a few days, I will go on a date with Yi Tang. Upon learning that Yi Tang had actively invited him, Chang Jiala was shocked. But Meng Yixing did not give him a chance to keep rambling and directly kicked him out of the room. Seeing that Chang Jiala still would not stop talking, Meng Yixing lost his patience. Shut up. I will be in jail until dawn. I am drinking some orange juice and going to sleep. Chang Jiala was even more speechless. Young master, are not you allergic to chamomile? Don't you know that yourself? Meng Yixing slumped to the ground. Eating something I am allergic to won't take down. Gently me. Back then, when I was starving, I even ate unresponsive rats. The cold orange juice touched his cheek, and Meng Yixing suddenly felt much clearer. I have been drinking a bit too much today. Once I stop doing anything, the headache comes back. Meng Yixing hated alcohol. He hated anything that could affect his nerves, anything that caused hallucinations, fantasies, or made people lose themselves. The grades that would cause his allergic reaction just happened to be cool but sweet, clearly pleasing yet tasty, but with a stinging sensation that creates a spicy illusion, making one feel awake. A few days later, they finally had their first date. Meng Yixing was taking pictures of Yi Tang with his camera. Yi Tang turned around and noticed his actions. What are you doing? Meng Yixing guiltily said, taking pictures of the scenery as a memento. Yi Tang was speechless. What scenery can you capture with your camera pointed at me for so long? Meng Yixing started to use cheesy pickup lines as he spoke. Yi Tang could not help but feel a chill inside. These acts of mine always seem so real. If that is the case, I might as well continue. Yi Tang deliberately showed him a smile. Don't make me look bad in the photos. Meng Yixing was momentarily stunned. Yi Tang would not lose to him. By the way, what do you plan to do with the business your late uncle left behind? Those young masters and ladies who take advantage of others' misfortunes won't let you off easily, right? Meng Yixing was first taken aback, then pretended to have a headache. Ah, you really strike lightly the nail on the head. I have to continue working with them to maintain the business. Although they agreed, they took the opportunity to blackmail me. Yi Tang offered to help him review the contracts. Meng Yixing feigned a look of surprise. Not only did Yi Tang offer to review the contracts, but he also wanted to give him some pointers. Meng Yixing suddenly approached Yi Tang. That was really a big help. I was really worried about it. But won't it be too much trouble for you? You still have classes and a part-time job. Otherwise, I should just do it myself. Yi Tang smiled. How could it be troublesome, unless you think I am not capable enough to handle it? Don't worry, helping you will also give me more experience. Yi Tang kept a calm distance from him. Sometimes, his actions would make Yi Tang feel a bit dazed. Yi Tang could not help but wonder if his repeated closeness was all just a facade with ulterior motives. Meng Yixing not only did not mind but also mentioned that he barely attended elementary school. Yi Tang was a bit surprised. Meng Yixing scratched his head and said there were things he could not talk about. This was one of them. He could only say that many things, if they could really be as glamorous as they appear on the surface, it would be great. Yi Tang suddenly grabbed his hand. That is exactly why you need to secure this business deal. Although I do not know what you have been through, I understand you very well. Aren't I the same? To achieve certain goals, I often wear a mask and deceive people in different ways. The two of us really are kindred spirits. Anyway, about helping you review the contract. I will give it my all. Meng Yixing said it was a blessing on the surface, but deep down, he was overwhelmed. He brought up the past himself just to steer the conversation away from the contract. But the other person did not take the hint at that moment. Meng Yixing felt even more clearly how the god of wealth had truly chosen someone so difficult to deal with for him. Yi Tang asked him to briefly talk about the new business he had taken over. So, they sent me to wrap things up with all of you. In fact, the people who carried out the kidnapping were hired by Yi Tang. From the moment Isaac was taken down gently, Yi Tang realized something was off. I always feel like someone is pulling me into their conspiracy from a place where I can't see. Yi Tang must verify if this conspiracy stems from Meng Yixing. Yi Tang suspects that Meng Yixing also has a mafia background. The reason he appeared here is to incite a factional fight within the news industry through Isaac's serious consequence. So Yi Tang decides to use Richard Sade. If Meng Yixing's goal is to dismantle the news, this secret would certainly be enticing enough for him. Armin follows the agreement with Yi Tang and asks, "Don't be nervous, Mr. Yi. Mr. Richard does not want to harm you. That day, you promised Mr. Richard that as long as he let you and Mr. Meng go and did not bother you anymore, you would hand over some things you had to help him clear an old injustice. I am here specifically to confirm if this deal is still valid." Yi Tang uses this opportunity to observe Meng Yixing. Upon hearing that this kidnapping is related to the new secret, he still resists the coercion behind it, but the resistance clearly weakened unconsciously. You really came for the new dream, but Yi Tang underestimated Meng Yixing's vigilance. What does his wrongful case have to do with Yi Tang? This Mr. Richard is quite persistent. Armin assured that as long as Yi Tang fulfilled the agreement, Richard would not bother Yi Tang in the future. Before Yi Tang could even speak, his teammate, who was tied up behind him, immediately shook his hand. If you dare to refuse, it will cost you your lives. The knife in my hand is not just for show. Armin was stunned for a moment, then gritted his teeth and glared at Tang. What are you doing? Is it your turn to speak? Yi Tang cursed Cram for being unreliable, but still braced himself and looked down. Given the current situation, do I still have the option to refuse? Armin took out an envelope, indicating that as long as Yi Tang took it to the address inside, there would be someone to meet him. Without a word, Meng Yixing directly threw the person behind him over his shoulder. Everyone was shocked, and the situation became unstable. Meng Yixing took advantage of the chaos and pulled Yi Tang over. He held him tightly in his arms, causing Yi Tang's heart to race once again. Yi Tang's friends were in trouble. Meng Yixing ran off with Yi Tang. But Armin had not completed the task Yi Tang assigned, so the group decided to keep chasing them. They would definitely reach the shore, and we would head in their direction. Because things were too chaotic, Meng Yixing held Yi Tang and drank quite a bit of water. He kept apologizing and explaining endlessly, but Yi Tang did not respond. After setting him down, "Are you okay?" Yi Tang suddenly widened his eyes at Meng Yixing. Following Yi Tang's furrowed brows downward, 2 buttons on his collar were undone, revealing a soaked shirt underneath and faint glimpses of his pale skin to avoid being exposed by the crown prince. Yi Tang actually took the initiative to kiss him. The plan was supposed to go smoothly, but unexpectedly, Meng Yixing directly jumped into the river with Yi Tang in his arms. The entire plan was completely disrupted. Although the staged dream deception was fake, the negotiation location and street code in the letter were real. According to the plan, Yi Tang would pretend to accept the envelope and, after being released by Armin and the others, find a time that matched Meng Yixing's reading time. And in a way that seemed like he was discussing it with him. reveal the contents of the envelope along with some of the secrets he knew if Meng Yixing had any intention of targeting the news. Once he confirmed the information Yi Tang gave him, he would take this opportunity to act on the news at that point. Either he would deal with Richard, or Richard would deal with him. Either way, Yi Tang would have one less problem. But he completely ignored the contents of the envelope and just jumped ship. The smartest move would have been to play along, at least take a look at the letter first. He did not care at all. Could it be he is not interested in the news? Yi Tang started doubting his assumptions. No, if he wakes up now, he will take me away immediately. Even if he knows I am acting, this play has to go on. According to the plan, Ming and the others should be arriving soon. What Yi Tang did not expect was that Meng Yixing directly pinched his nose. Preparing to perform CPR. Yi Tang suddenly opened his eyes, and Meng Yixing's gaze met his. Flustered, Meng Yixing hurriedly explained, "I thought you were drowning." The conversation was interrupted by Yi Tang's clueless teammate holding a bamboo stick. He shouted like a crazy old lady, "You filthy scoundrel, what are you trying to do to our Tang Tang? I will beat you to serious consequence today." To avoid blowing their cover, Armin quickly grabbed his pants. The moment the clueless teammate's pants fell, time seemed to freeze. The bamboo stick accidentally landed on Meng Yixing, and the two ended up drenched and awkwardly tangled together. Armin hurriedly turned the clueless teammate away. Meanwhile, Meng Yixing was about to turn around to check. Yi Tang decided to go all in, cupping Meng Yixing's face and kissing him directly, signaling Armin to retreat with his gaze. Only after the others left did Yi Tang finally let go of him. Meng Yixing was completely taken aback. Yi Tang blushed, unsure how to explain. "Let us just help Ming and the others get through this first." "But won't Meng Yixing definitely figure out that we are on the same side? What should we do next?" By chance, while sneaking out of school, he accidentally landed on a handsome young man. He thought they were kindred spirits, but little did he know, it was the most feared disciplinary officer everyone talked about on the first day of school. Zhang Jiala warned Meng Yixing. "The disciplinary officer at our school is terrifying. Be extra careful not to make mistakes or you will be in trouble. Especially, do not sneak out of school again." Meng Yixing casually assured him not to worry. However, Meng Yixing's casual promises were never reliable. What he did not expect was that before he could even climb over the wall there was already someone waiting below. A sudden scare ended up landing directly on me. "Sorry, classmate, I suddenly fell down. Are you okay?" Seeing his face, Meng Yixing froze in surprise. Even with glasses on, they could not hide the stunning beauty of the young man. Yi Tang rubbed his head. "I am fine," he said, looking at Meng Yixing with a sudden sharp glare. "But you, why are you climbing over the school wall at this hour? You gave me quite a scare." Meng Yixing was momentarily stunned. Inching closer and closer. Yi Tang felt uneasy under his gaze. "Hey, classmate," Meng Yixing snapped out of it and smiled. "I suddenly think I should change my third-level skill." Yi Tang did not understand what he meant. Meng Yixing became like a little shadow following behind him. "But during class, why were you in that place?" Yi Tang did not answer. "Is it not allowed? Are you the only one who can skip class?" Meng Yixing's eyes lit up even more. "I knew it, I can tell you are one of my kind. So, how do you usually skip class without getting caught? You can't always fake sick notes." "Right. I just transferred to this school and heard that the discipline officer here is particularly terrifying. I do not want to get in trouble with him. Can you give me some tips?" Yi Tang smiled and pushed open a door. "It is simple. Just look at the 3-word student council." Meng Yixing suddenly widened his eyes. Yi Tang adjusted his glasses calmly and said, "If you do not want to get caught, just become the one who catches others." The usually arrogant and unruly Meng Yixing now listened obediently like a little kitten as Yi Tang listed his offenses: forging sick leave notes, skipping classes, sneaking out of school to go to internet cafes. "You have just transferred, and you have already done this so many times that I can't even count them on both hands. Meng Yixing, I am that terrifying discipline officer you mentioned. The teachers have been watching you for a long time. Did you really think you would not get caught?" As he spoke, he moved a form in front of Meng Yixing. "Fill this out, write a reflection, and complete the school service duties listed on the form this week. After that, we will consider the matter of skipping classes settled." An hour later, Meng Yixing kept muttering to himself. Yi Tang had no choice but to either do the community service or get reported by the teacher. Meng Yixing stared at Yi Tang with a smile. "It is surprising. Everyone says you are scary, but I think you are kind. You even helped me apply for community service so I would not get reported. Is it because you know that a transfer student like me, who has caused trouble at the previous school, would easily get expelled if caught breaking the rules?" Yi Tang ignored him, grabbed his bag, and headed for the door. "Just leave your reflection there when you are done. I am going home." Meng Yixing suddenly blocked his way. "Wait a minute, is it because the disciplinary committee member is too kind to me? I really want to turn over a new leaf and work hard to become a good student who never breaks school rules again." Yi Tang asked how he planned to improve. Meng Yixing deliberately whispered in his ear, for example, by taking the disciplinary committee member as a role model and asking for guidance whenever there is A problem with school rules. You have actually been following me for a long time. You do not even know why I have to skip classes, yet you never caught me until the teacher got angry and you stepped in. First, since you are so concerned, why not give me your number so you can supervise and tutor me anytime? Yi Tang is a mafia prince, while the other is a nobleman from the slums. Together they have 800 new admirers, yet their feelings are as pure as a blank sheet of paper, a kiss by accident, and both were flustered. Why did you suddenly ask Meng Yixing like that? Yi Tang was also embarrassed. Yi Tang did not consider the consequences, and it was Meng Yixing who first made excuses. Meng Yixing did not even dare to look at his face, explaining that he was distracted and accidentally stepped on him, but Yi Tang quickly calmed down, realizing that Meng Yixing was the one who needed to prove himself. He approached me with unclear intentions. Yi Tang could not expose his own actions. Sure enough, Meng Yixing mentioned Richard's 3 subordinates. But if it was them, why did they just throw the will? Yi Tang's expression changed. He was right. He avoided the hint of whether he had feelings for him, not even giving a perfunctory response. It was because he did not have those feelings at all. Thinking of this, Yi Tang felt bitter. Indeed, the previous repeated interactions were all just a setup. Unexpectedly, Meng Yixing suddenly called out to him seriously. Yi Tang, you are not wrong. I do like you. Before Yi Tang could speak, Meng Yixing interrupted him again. I am sorry, I know I am being abrupt, but now is not the time to talk about this. Richard's subordinates could catch up at any moment. We do not know what they might do. I will take you away first. Yi Tang blushed like a girl, thinking Meng Yixing must be out of his mind. You think I will believe such a half-hearted excuse? You are such a jerk. But he did not notice that Meng Yixing was smiling at him while he looked down. Although it was not the banquet as I mentioned, Yi Tang really did set a trap for me. He guessed that I had an interest in the news, so he used Richard's secret to test me. He is really quick-witted. But unfortunately, according to my plan, I can't fall for a woman's tricks just yet. Because next, I have a show to put on for you in the end. Yi Tang not only brought Meng Yixing home but also let him use the bathroom to take a shower. And there was no reason for Yi Tang's household to refuse Meng Yixing, but this jerk did not mention his confession at all after entering the house. Talking about me, want to see my reaction? Fine, I will give you a good reaction. Wait until he finishes his shower, then find an excuse to reject him. Yi Tang had just gone upstairs when he noticed the window in the room was open. He thought it was Armin and the others, but unexpectedly saw a masked stranger. Hello there, owner of this house. This voice made Yi Tang feel something was wrong. Instinctively, he stepped back to run, but the other person had already approached. Yi Tang's neck was tightly gripped. Why run? Do you think I won't take down gently you if you run? You have take down gently before. If the target tries to escape, would you just let them go? Judging by your reaction, you know why I am here. That is right. After you take down gently Isaac, I was the one who took care of him and his men. Coincidentally, we were working on the same project. We could be considered colleagues.